We go where the story takes us. I'm like a fly to poop when it comes to teams choking. I just love it. I love these stories. They never get old to me. I've been doing this a long time, and I always look forward to these type of stories. And there's no better story today, as far as a choke is concerned, than in Minnesota, where someone named Brandon Clark scored 12 of his 20 points in the fourth quarter. And Memphis storming back. They were down 26 points. You saw the game. You know what I'm talking about here. If you didn't see it, well, hey, too bad. Down 26 points. And they end up winning the game 104-95. The KO of the Wolves, Desmond Bane. Great name. Wonderful name, Desmond Bane. Had 8 points, 8 of his 26 in that fourth quarter. And so with that win, Memphis, they stubbed their toe in the opener of the series. So the Grizzlies now take a 2-1 lead. And they are 2 wins away from advancing to the second round of the NBA playoffs. But the better story is in the losing locker room. So let us discuss the question. You make the call. The Wolves collapsed or the Grizzlies came back? You know which way I'm leaning. This is obvious. A collapse with a capital C in the Minnesota MALLER Misery Index. The Minnesota MALLER Misery Index, 1 to 10, with 10 being the worst of the worst. I'm at a 48 for the Timberwolves on this one. I've got Lumberjacks, Humidor, and Sun Tzu. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a Juicy Lucy, which I believe they choked on. I believe the Timberwolves choked on a Juicy Lucy. That's why they lost the game. All right, so imagine, if you will, you're a stock car driver. You are lapping the field at the Daytona 500. You are literally in cruise control at this point. You're so far ahead of everyone else. And then you realize, wait a minute, I missed that pit stop, and you run out of fuel. You run out of fuel. That's what happened here. The Wolves sucked at a time you cannot suck, but that doesn't even do this justice. Right? This was a masterpiece of incompetence all the way around, and I just love it. I 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 can't get enough of it. When this was going on, I was texting some friends, and I was like, "This is happening. They're going to lose. No, they're going to blow this." And sure enough, they not only blew it, but they blew it out of the water there. And congratulations to the Timberwolves here on providing one of the great FUBAR performances you're going to see in professional sport. This happens to be basketball. And so I've decided that we need to call them what they are here. They are the Lumberjacks of the NBA. You can't say Timberwolves without timber as the towering tree comes falling on top of you. And these guys, these bums did not just blow a 26-point lead. It's one thing to blow a big lead, but they did it with razzmatazz. Not by a buzzer beater, some kind of fluke shot. No, it wasn't something like that. The game was lopsided by the time it ended. They were down double digits. They went from 26 up to down 12. That's a 38-point turnaround. Wow. All right, now part B of this. Who gets to wear the shame bell for the Wolves? Well, that one's easy. That one's easy. To the stars go the spoils. To the stars go the shame bell. Karl Anthony Towns. Big talking Karl Anthony Towns. More on that coming up in a couple of minutes. Something he said will live in infamy in Minnesota sports. And on our show, we got a new drop from Karl Anthony Towns. But Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, these two guys can sit together in the humiliation humidor. They can get together in the humidor. It's the humiliation humidor because holy cannoli, right? Minnesota goes from 26 point up. Now, granted, it was the second quarter. But from that point on, and really it was more like late third quarter into the fourth quarter, they hopped on the express train, destination Barf City, and they arrived on time to Barf City. From that point, That's the point of demarcation. So Minnesota was up 47-21. From that point to the end of the game, if your star players do anything halfway decent, you win that game. You have to work to lose a 26-point lead. You have to try to lose a 26-point lead. Now, Carl Anthony, my God. Oh, you talk about living up to your bad reputation. Carl Anthony Towns, when Minnesota went up by 26 points, from that point to the end of the game, you know how many points he scored? Two for the rest of the game. He had 2 more points than me, and I was sitting on my ass, and I only scored 2 points less than Carl Anthony Towns. How many rebounds? Guess what? You had 1 less rebound than Carl Anthony Towns. From that point in the game on, again, you're nursing a 26-point lead. You're like nursing a baby. 1 rebound, 2 points, 1 rebound. How many turnovers? 4 turnovers. The lack of urgency is stunning. Like Carl Anthony Towns, until proven otherwise, you got to say it like it is. This guy is lacking the killer instinct. He's not a ferocious bear. He's not a grizzly bear. No, he's more like a koala bear. You know what happens when a koala bear is around danger? They're very passive. They run away. Even if they perceive danger, they run away if you get too close. That's who this guy is. That's who Towns is. To take only 2 shots as the walls are caving in, to not even try to hold up the walls when they're caving. No, I'm not going to hold them up. It's a basketball boner. That's a basketball boner is what it is. Now, meanwhile, not to be outdone, he's a distant second, but it's Carl Anthony Towns' running mate, Anthony Edwards, who I like this guy. I enjoy this guy. I don't think he really likes basketball. He said that in the past. He's not a big basketball fan. But he's got the swagger. And that guy, the player, Anthony Edwards, he needed a paper bag because he was also hyperventilating. And the nickname, we had a caller from Minnesota that said, well, he's got the nickname. He's called the Ant. Well, yeah, he played like Aunt Betty is what he played like when they went up by 26 points. 4 of 11 from that point in the game, that point of demarcation the rest of the way. And he had 12 points, which is clearly not enough. And just the Wolves as a team, too many omegas and not enough alphas. And so, some people are piling on Patrick Beverley, the glue guy, saying it's his fault. And that is bullcrap, all right? I'm going to defend the glue guy. My guy, Patrick Beverley. All right, he took a lot of shots. He took more shots than Carl Anthony Towns, for example. The reason that is, okay, tell me you don't know basketball without telling me you don't know basketball. The reason Beverley did that, because he was one of the few guys that didn't urinate down his leg, okay, while that was going on. The fact that the Grizzlies came back and Ja Morant, one of the great ball players in that sport, Ja Morant was a garden variety offensive player, is stunning. Ja Morant, for the most part, was neutralized. If you say he took 18 shots and only made 5 of them, that's what he did. And had 7 turnovers. And I had rebounds, he had a triple-double, but the 7 turnovers, the bad shooting, the efficiency was not there. And then you get Brandon Clark. Generic name Brandon Clark. Now, I will concede, Desmond Bane's a good player, and it's a great name and all that, but those are the guys that are carrying the water. I mean, that's the kind of game. These things don't usually spill over to the other, but that's the kind of thing that will be in the back of your head. If Minnesota's winning and they're playing well, and then in the next game and the Grizzlies then go on a run, this gut punch will come back. All right, now the last word, I want to change it up a little bit. Go over to that Utah Jazz Dallas Maverick game, and the Jazz lost this game. Now, they didn't blow a gigantic lead or anything like that, and so it's not quite as sexy a story. It's not quite as sexy a story. But are you surprised? The question on this one, are you surprised the Jazz were beaten again by the B-side of the Mavericks? It's like going to a show and the backup singers are performing and they knock it out of the park. I am not surprised. Now, this is the Sun Tzu strategy which Dallas has been able to employ. You attack where your opponent is unprepared. The art of war from Sun Tzu. 100-page book that still gets quoted. He's been dead for hundreds of years. But anyway, Dallas, what they have been able to do, and do I give Jason Kidd credit, or is this just a case of the obvious thing? Dallas has been able to find the kryptonite of the Utah roster. Again, they're doing the same thing the Clippers did last year in the playoffs. Ty Lue came up with it, but the Mavericks are also exploiting it. The Jazz perimeter defenders have no ability to stay in front of anyone who's got even decent speed with the basketball in their hands. At the point of attack, it's like, vroom, 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 speed racer. Jalen Brunson had an encore performance. You said, well, that's a once-in-a-lifetime out-of-body experience the other night. He did it again. He had 31 points. There's a guy that's going to get paid. And will likely never play like this again, but he will get paid. And Maxi Kleber again, knocking down money balls. Spencer Dinwiddie, who did not play all that well, if you look at the stat line, but he made a big shot in the fourth quarter. And someone named Dorian Finney-Smith also with the backbreaker. So the final thought here, what can the Jazz do now? So I have a couple of ideas here. They can turn to voodoo. They can do that. They can get some fuzzy dice, lucky fuzzy dice. Maybe that'll help, because you're not going to get better perimeter defenders. You're not allowed to trade anybody. You're not going to change the roster. It's not in the skill set of the players on the roster, so you have to try to reinvent the wheel as the car is moving if you're the Utah Jazz at this point. And you have to be able to make a nice, delicious cake out of a pile of turds. Good luck. Good luck on that. Meanwhile, some of the pundits, I've been seeing this take, that since Dallas has taken control of this series at this point, that they should play it safe and not put Luka Doncic back in the lineup and just wait. Just kind of play it out. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? I say it's a terrible idea. I say no. All right, my position. Now, the Mavericks are winning, and that's great and all that, but it's not sustainable long-term to go deeper into the NBA play. You can do it against the Jazz because the Jazz are incompetent stopping the perimeter. But when you go further in play, you got to get Luka. If you're Dallas, you're going to make a run here. So there's no need in saving this guy for a rainy day. Why would you save him for a rainy day? It's the playoffs. If he's able to play him. It's not like you're going to prevent future injury. So what exactly are you accomplishing?